how are they gonna improve the treasurer's office? Are they gonna hire another position in that? And I haven't heard those at all. But as far as the duties being taken away, I'd love to have a lot of those responsibilities back, you know, but you would need more department staffing to handle those positions as well.
My question then would be then, what is your feeling about it going to a part-time position?
At this time, I don't think it's beneficial to the residents. I think that the full-time position is more beneficial to the residents at this time.
Do I ask you for permission, or do I have to?
Chair.
Well, I mean,
If you want to rebuttal, go ahead. I mean, it's,
well, no, if we're trying to engage in an open discussion in an effort to educate residents, I'd just like an opportunity to respond. The idea behind this resolution was to get it on the November of 16 ballot so that definitive plans could be made. Remember, we're not at any way, shape, or form impacting our current treasurer's term. He will continue to serve out as a full-time treasurer, just as, you know, the people elected. There's definitely some thoughts in terms of what we would do, but the point in getting it on this year's ballot was to say, if the will of the people is to try and take the dollars we currently have and make it better versus hiring more people to make it better, if we do that, if we vote to go part-time, there's some work to be done, but we've given ourselves a year to figure that out. And I don't want to mislead anybody into thinking that it hasn't even been thought of. I just don't want to speak for a majority of council. I kind of, you know, champion the cause, if you will, in terms of my observations going back to 2011. By no means would set the policy. That would have to be a combination of council and administration and working with the treasurer. But sure, I think you know, taking a full-time wage and using that money to potentially hire another employee or two to make sure that the treasurer's office is open at all times, to make sure that if you come in, whether it's lunchtime, breakfast time, or almost dinner time, that if you're here to do city business and City Hall's open, you should be able to conduct business. And I don't think we need to spend additional tax dollars to do that. I don't think we need to hire more people to get that done. I think we need to more wisely spend the dollars we already have. And that's the beauty of the solution. It's not really, you know, saving taxpayers money in that, by comparison, I guess, it went to hiring someone new. But in terms of where we at today budget-wise, just take those dollars and create an environment where service is improved on a regular basis. And I definitely think we can do that with a part-time treasurer.
Madam Chair? Through the chair, please. I'd like to comment on that, and it's no secret, Councilman Pizzaro knows how I feel, so does the treasurer. First of all, that the way the treasurer position is written in the charter, I believe it requires a full-time position because it's supposed to be a complete check and balance. However, Councilman Pizzaro did a great job of stating the facts that a lot of those duties have been taken away, and they have not been given back to that office. You know, during these last 3 years, I'm not going to speculate as to why, but they have not. So, you know, currently, it's not being, that office is not doing that complete check and balance on every dollar collected through this, by the city. So, that's the question that we are trying to resolve here with this amendment.
Madam Chair, and a small clarification, the charter currently doesn't really dictate that the position is full-time or part-time. That was part of the conversation and part of the discussions that took place, you know, when we started to review the charter. It doesn't say full or part-time. It doesn't say you should work an hour a week or 10 hours a week or 100 hours a week. It lists some duties of the treasurer, but it doesn't dictate that it's a full-time position. There was some arguments made that we didn't even need a charter amendment to deem this position part-time. You could start treating it like part-time. And I didn't want anything to do with that. As the guy that was trying to, you know, explain why I thought this was better for residents, I didn't want to hide behind, well, if the charter is silent on something, let's just create it the way we want it, or create it the way a majority of council wants it. We said, no, we're going to do the right thing. We're going to be above board. We're going to be transparent, and we're going to put it out to the people. And we want to be upfront, and we want to be honest. Don't know if we could have won a fight that said, we'll just start treating it part-time. Didn't want to go there. Wanted the people to understand what we were trying to do, how we go about servicing them, and if someone up here has a way to provide better services to our residents, I think we were elected and voted in and have a responsibility to try and make that happen. If the people vote in favor of it, we'll move forward. If not, I'll look for other ways to try and improve the city.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Johnson.
when this came up, I voted against it. The main reason I voted against it is because the charter don't state. But what it did state was the pay. So I believe that the voters should know before they vote on something, what the pay could be, what constitutes part-time, what benefits they would get. So now they're voting, this is my opinion, they're voting to make it a part-time position. We don't know what that is. We're going to determine that afterwards if it goes through. But I think voters should have that choice. We should have come up, I would like to see it, that it's part-time, it's 20 hours a week, this is the pay, this is the benefits. Do you want it, or don't you? That's my position, and that's what I feel about it.
Madam Chair, and just respond to that as well, in our charter, we also have a local officers compensation commission that would set the terms of that. So including it in there wouldn't be our decision to do that.
The original charter, it was.
Absolutely, but in addition to the charter, we also have the local officers compensation commission that sets those rates.
But it sets the rates, it don't set the part-time.
Sure. I don't think any positions say whether it's part-time or full-time.
Correct.
So, but no, I mean, I agree with Councilman Pizzurro when, he mentioned, the duties of this office are not the same they were before. I want to also reiterate too, is that this current treasurer, it's nothing against him, and I have nothing against him, I don't think anybody out here does. But I think that we need to look forward, at taking a serious look at actually having this position as a part-time position and how we would facilitate those duties in that office going forward if this is approved. Right now, I would say that it's currently not working the way that it initially was intended to work in that office. And I think that this part-time opportunity that's on the ballot this November, if approved, would give us the new ability to be able to look at that office and reevaluate kind of what's been going on in that office.
Through the chair to Mr. Ramick again. One of the other things, Mr. Berzer brought up, and made me think about a conversation I had with some of the former treasurers the last couple months and stuff. And one of the persons that worked in our office, back in 11 and prior to that when Wayne was there, the main function of the treasurer's office has always been to collect the tax dollars. That responsibility has never went away. That is the big bulk of the job, to making sure the collections are done properly. And that workload has never lightened up at all. They may have taken payroll and certain things out, but at that time there was 7 employees. I had 1 clerk, 3, 1 deputy treasurer, so there is only 2 people left in my office at this time, including with myself, with making the 3rd. So I mean, even though some of the duties went out, there's still a big workload there in the treasurer's office. And if we are going to go to a part-time position, I just think that needs to be addressed as well. What's going to happen with that workload, So at the time, we're probably about, safe to say, 4 to 5 people less in that department than there was, 6, 7 years ago when those started getting taken away.
When I sat on this council, if I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, I think at one time, didn't we have attorneys doing a large amount of collections for us?
Madam Chair,
Do we now?
We still do.
Do you?
What we had at the time, and I can't remember the woman's name, there was a full-time person that handled personal property itself and worked with the attorney office. That person was eliminated, I believe, in 2010 or 2011, and her sole responsibility was working with the attorneys, doing the personal property collections. That employee's no longer there, and that's part of what's been consumed as the city treasurer. My deputy and my clerk 3 doesn't handle the personal property collection. That's one of my main responsibilities since that position was eliminated a few years ago.
But you still have an attorney doing your collections, and what would you say, how much is it costing us a year for those collections?
Approximately $35,000, I would say.
Madam Chair, we had that attorney into a study session. I'm not sure if he attended a council meeting, and I think time, we ran some numbers, and we were spending 45 to 50 grand a year for his work in collecting taxes. So, and I'm a round number, it was about 45 or 50, but that was kind of one of the observations with the budget that we currently have in the office, and this idea of doling out responsibilities. Who else are we paying, not necessarily just in City Hall, but outside of City Hall, to do things that may previously have been done in the office? So, it's hard for me to itemize on a day-to-day basis what our treasurer does, but this concept of a workload, it's hard for me to fathom, only because we went 9 months without one, and then we went 12 months with one in Florida. So I don't know how big that workload is, but I know we moved forward as a city in 9 and 12 month stretches without one. So to me, that's what really got me to where I am today. Let's take the money we're spending and be more prudent with it, so that residents can see a difference when they come into City Hall.
And just one for the
Mr.
president.
Reserve, or through the chair, Mr. Reserve, one thing, you say a lot of those duties, some of them did come back. I know the prior chief of staff was handling bankruptcies and stuff like that prior to me coming here, and then a few months after I came back, a lot of the bankruptcies, and slowly but surely some of those duties came back. So the current chief of staff in the mayor's office doesn't handle those things at all. There's either me or,
Mr. Right, the attorney does the paying 40, 50 grand, there's a lot of that to approve yet.
right.
Through the chair, I'm just wondering exactly what duties were taken